my friends, I am Bee and this is Bee's Intuition. Today we're going to do a reading. I'm definitely going to try and make it a quickie, so don't be mad at me if I rush it a little bit. Anywho, it's going to be about why you're so hot, or like what makes you so darn hot. I feel like it's really fitting because today it's actually kind of hot. I'm in direct sunlight as well, which is not my favorite place to be, but I'm gonna catch all of the vitamin D while I still can. Let's just say, because that fall transitioning into winter. I live in the northern hemisphere, so we're going into fall and then winter. So my depression's gonna get real bad, I think. But I'm getting some vitamin D right now, so maybe I'm cured. I touched grass, so I think that means I have no more mental illness, so that's pretty cool. Thanks, grass, for doing me a real one there. Anyways, what am I even talking about? This is why I can't do quickies. Okay, let's just dive right in. See why you're so freaking hot. Okay. Anywho, please and thank you, Spirit. Why is the collective so darn hot? Why is the collective so darn hot? Why is the collective so darn hot? What's their secret? Why are they so hot? What makes them so darn attractive? What makes people just see the collective and go, damn? You know what I'm saying? Why is the collective so darn hot? I want to know. We all want to know. We all want to know. We all want to. You know? We all want to know, in one way or another, why the collective is so darn hot. They gotta save some hotness for the rest of us, baby. Why are you hogging all of the hot, collective? Why are you just so darn hot that you're not leaving anything for the rest of us? That's what I want. That's the real question. Okay. What came out? We have the Page of Pentacles in the reverse. Very interesting. Then the Six of Pentacles. Nine of Pentacles. Oh my God. Nine of Pentacles, and then bottom of the deck, I kid you not, King of Pentacles. These are all Pentacle cards. Well, right off the bat, like, you probably give an earthy, very, like, some sort of earthy, down-to-earth, grounded sort of energy. Or there's, like, some sense of stability that you exude, or security, like, within yourself. You could be very confident or very easy to talk to. Somebody that's not like really high and mighty. There's something very approachable and real about you. You may also be a very kind of realistic person, or like even if you're very spiritual, you still keep like a logical sense to things, I think. Anywho, let's start by clarifying that Page of Pentacles in the reverse. Please and thank you, Spirit. I kind of already have an idea of where this is going to go with the Page of Pentacles in the reverse, but obviously we're clarifying, so we'll see what Spirit intends it to be about. Significant. Okay, anything else about that Page of Pentacles in the reverse? What makes the collective so darn hot? What makes them so darn attractive? The world needs to know. Okay, so oh my gosh. Okay, clarifying the Page of Pentacles. We have the Two of Swords, the Hierophant. The Hierophant. I don't know why I'm saying it with a French accent. The Tower. Bottom of the deck. Nine of Pentacles. Double confirmation for Nine of Pentacles. You are independent and stable. That's something very, very attractive about you. So right off the bat with that Page of Pentacles in the reverse, I think that that is indicating that you're not a guppy. Maybe at one point you were, but you're no longer that guppy. You're a full-grown fish in the ocean. You know what you're doing here. You have a sense of mastery about you. You also have a sense of having learned a lot of things. And it feels like because it is Pentacles, it's probably you've learned things through life. Like, your physical life has taught you so much. You've learned a lot of lessons because of that. And you're no longer at that like beginner stage in your journey. You are mastering maybe yourself, mastering, you know, gaining abundance, attracting abundance, figuring out how to attract abundance into your life. You figured that out for the most part. Or that's simply how other people are perceiving you. That's the kind of energy you give off. This is so interesting. I feel like there's a transformation taking place in these cards. I feel like maybe there was a time where you were very indecisive, but through trusting your intuition, trusting in spirit, your spiritual messages you're getting from spirit, it changed you. It also changed your life dramatically. So something that I recently kind of came across was like life path numbers, and I guess it's nothing new, but I figured out that my life path number is 5, and 5 is like the number of like transformation, I guess. So maybe some of you out there may have a life path number of 5 as well, because this is like a big transformation. Or you could just be ruled by Scorpio, yeah. You could be ruled by Scorpio in some place in your birth chart, because Scorpio and Pluto, like, it's very known for transformation, usually dramatic transformation. Okay, so I think that in the past you used to not really trust your intuition. You may have questioned it a lot, and that got you caught up in your head, unable to make a lot of decisions. But through practicing trusting your intuition and maybe practicing your spirituality, you've gained mastery over those things. You no longer feel that sense of being unable to make a decision. I mean, sure, you probably have your moments, because everybody's human. We're not always going to know exactly what to do in like a split second, but overall, compared to your past, you are making more concise decisions, and you're not as afraid to take chances and stuff. And this matches that Page of Pentacles in the reverse energy perfectly, in my opinion. Sorry. My phone. But yeah, so also your mindsets have changed. Like, honestly, this really feels like you may have killed your past version of yourself, and I don't mean that literally or like in a bad way necessarily. It feels like who you were in the past is not who you are today. And that's something that other people can see, and they find that incredibly attractive about you. You have rebirthed yourself into someone who is not afraid to take chances, someone who has had their mind expanded. You have a lot of that wisdom, spiritual wisdom, the wisdom that you've gained throughout your lifetime. You've also gone through a lot of tumultuous life events, and so that has made you stronger. You've had to adapt, you've had to change and grow. I almost feel like spirit or life in general just has not given you the pretty much it had, oh my goodness, I can't talk. Life circumstances or spirit has kind of forced you to change, like even if you didn't want to. I feel like the way your life is set up is just like major transformation is or has been a major theme in your life. And people see this, and I think they think it's very attractive that you have an easier time making decisions. You're more decisive like that. You also have this wisdom. People could go to you for advice. You have spiritual wisdom. as well as life wisdom. You've been through a lot of things, so you can relate to a lot of different people on different levels and stages of life. Also, I feel like this tremendous energy of like an aura, or like the energy you give off when you walk into a room is like so big, so intense that people cannot ignore it. You stand out in one way or another. But I feel like you own that, because it's like, you know that you're an individual. And so maybe where you live, individuality is not as common, or you don't see people like you every day. Because there's like a sense of like owning who you are at this point in your life that I feel like makes you very attractive to other people. That Nine of Pentacles at the bottom of the deck, you've gained, not even gained, you've like literally worked on, like through your, please don't be a spider, I scare you monster. Now I'm gonna be paranoid thinking that a spider's crawling on me. Anywho's, you gained a lot of stability, a lot of abundance through your path. I want to say you're very self-made in some regard. You've created a lot of happiness, a lot of stability in your life. You've also realized your own talents and have worked on those. There's also like an overall sense of contentment that you exude. And I feel like people kind of want to be a part of that, or they want to know how you got there, or you very much attract people to you. And it's probably because of how you're showing up in this like confident, transformative energy. I want to see what's underneath that Nine of Pentacles. Three of Pentacles. Oh my gosh, what is with the Pentacles? You are someone that people want to work with. They want to collaborate with you. Because you're so stable, they want to build stability with you, because it's almost like they know that you have that ability to build stability and abundance in your own life. And so they kind of want a taste of that, I feel like. You could be someone that attracts a lot of different people for maybe a lot of different things, because like some people are going to be wanting to collaborate with you in work. Other people are going to want to collaborate with you when it comes to romantic relationships and building in that way. Friendships, you know, you could attract a lot of people that want you in their life, because you are just such a clear, you give off this sense of stability and security in your energy, and people really like that and they want to be a part of it. Yeah. Okay, let's go on to the Six of Pentacles. Please and thank you, Spirit. What makes the collective so darn hot, attractive with that Six of Pentacles? Please and thank you, Spirit. Anything else for that? Six of Pentacles. Please and thank you, Spirit. What makes the collective so darn hot? Please and thank you. Okay, so clarifying that Six of Pentacles, we have Ace of Cups, Ace of Wands, yeah, this came out, Queen of Swords in the reverse, very interesting, oh my, and then we have Two of Wands, the Star card, the World card, Three of Cups, and then bottom of the deck, Ten of Pentacles. Holy moly. This was a really bad idea to sit and direct something. So that Six of Pentacles is right off the bat giving me this feeling of you being very giving with your energy, very giving. You're very giving with your knowledge, your wisdom, life experiences. You also, I don't know why I'm getting this, but you could also be like a shoulder to cry on for a lot of people, and they really appreciate that about you. But the Ace of Cups and the Ace of Wands, you're showing up as somebody that has a lot of love to give. You're also somebody that's incredibly creative, and you've created a lot of change or manifestation or something like that in your life. You may also want to share your creativity with the world as well, or your creative projects, your creative ideas. The Queen of Swords is interesting, and especially it coming out in the reverse, because the Queen of Swords already upright kind of has a reputation of being maybe a little closed off for the most part, but not like entirely. But in the reverse, that's more of like the shadowy side of the Queen of Swords, which is like getting a reputation as a bitch, let's say. Like cold-hearted, which is interesting after what I just said, how you are incredibly loving, creative, you have like a lot of the bug freaked me out, sorry, because never mind, that's not important. So that Queen of Swords in the reverse is hitting me as like, yeah, you have a lot of give, yeah. You have a lot to give. You have a lot of love to give. You have a lot of creativity to share, knowledge, wisdom, all that kind of stuff. But that Queen of Swords in the reverse energy, I'm just going to say, you're cutthroat. You literally will, the second you recognize disrespect, the second you realize you're being taken advantage of, the second you catch wind even of somebody playing you or playing on you or whatever, you act accordingly by either cutting that person out of your life, establishing those boundaries, and you don't care what that other person has to say about it because you're prioritizing yourself. So it's like, as much as you're caring, giving, loving, all these wonderful things, you're not a pushover. And people know this, either through interactions with you or simply by observing you and your relationships with others, because it's almost like, yeah, I got a heart full of love to give to those who deserve it, though. That's what I'm getting, because like you probably have been like considered too giving in the past, and so now it's like, I'm gonna be smart, you know, I'm gonna only give to those who show up for me, who appreciate what I do, who also do things for me in return. You know, like there's like a sense of actually balancing it out. And it's almost because, and I think this is why the Queen of Swords came out in the reverse, it's like, because you have so much love, so much to give, you're practically overflowing with beautiful qualities like that. Because it's so intense, I feel like on the shadow side, you kind of have to be equally as intense. Or it's just the natural nature of you. But it's almost like, it feels like more so that these are like life circumstances that have led you to the point of being that Queen of Swords in the reverse. And so it's like, to counteract these nice deeds, sometimes you gotta be a bitch. Sometimes you gotta just be, you know, no BS, not fluffing up your sentences, not beating around the bush, just being so freaking real. I love that energy. You know, I usually don't see the Queen of Swords as being like a very likable energy, but with this context though, it's a very beautiful energy, because it's like you have self-respect, you value yourself, you have that sense of worthiness within you, and you know what you're gonna, like what you're willing to accept and what you're not. And if anybody has anything to say about it, you really don't care. You really don't care. And I think that's perfectly wonderful. But, you know, this is all about what makes you so hot, what makes you so attractive. People like that bitchy side to you. You may think like, oh, you know, I can kind of be a bitch sometimes. I hope that they don't see me, you know, become a bitch, because then they might lose feeling. No. The people that are attracted to you love that side of you, because it shows that you have a sense of self-worth. You value yourself. You value your time, your resources, the things that you have in abundance, the things that you have to give. You know that it can easily be taken advantage of, and so you just don't go there anymore. And people like that though. Like if people see you, like, and they see your bitchy side come out, I think they fall in love with you. I'm just gonna say, I think they like that. I think probably because it's just very rare, you know? So many people are so afraid to offend other people, to establish boundaries, to move away from certain people in their life. But you're not afraid of doing that. And people like that. They like that a lot. Also, if you use your words like a knife, maybe like if somebody really ticks you off and pushes you over the edge, you can really cuss someone out, or, you know, say some things that are deeply damaging. But I'm still getting that there's like a demographic out there that still finds that incredibly attractive. I think maybe some people that are attracted to you might be, what's it called, masochists, because like they like that pain. They like, and maybe it's the duality. Like they just love that you can be so sweet, so tender, so kind, so giving, but at the same time, you can also be just as cold, cut off, and all that. Okay. This is a beautiful energy here with the Two of Wands, Star card, World card, and Three of Cups. You have made plans for your future. You also like have goals, you have plans, you have things that you're striving toward in life. And with the Star card, that would suggest that you're right on track with whatever you're trying to like manifest perhaps, or bring about in your life, plan for in the future. You are right on track to receive those blessings, to be on your divine path, doing what you're meant to do here. People see that and they find that incredibly attractive. You also glow. There's something about your glow with that Star card. You stand out in a very special way. There's something unearthly about you, but I mean that in a positive way. The World card, actually that's kind of funny because I feel like this kind of even goes hand in hand with that idea I just said, because it's like this person's floating in the air, like almost like she's an angel and like, you know, not part of this realm. You give off that sort of energy that's like divine, angelic, but not show-offy. I feel like you kind of keep to yourself for the most part, or you like, you're definitely not somebody to like go around being like, I'm the hottest person ever, I'm the best person. Like, you're not like that. And I feel like that just adds more to how unique you are, how you shine, how you glow, and you know which direction you're heading in. You are constantly trying to improve yourself. You're constantly trying to go on to the bigger and better step on your path. Three of Cups, you are very kind. People say that you would make a very good friend. Maybe you want, or maybe a lot of people want to be your friend. You could also attract a lot of people romantically. But it's really because of this kind heart that you have. Also the way that you feed back into your community, you feed back into your friendships, you feed back into these mutually beneficial relationships with others. Beautiful energy here. You're also somebody that loves to celebrate. You like, and not just yourself, but you love to celebrate the accomplishments of your friends, of people that are special to you in your life. I feel like you make other people feel very, very special. And it almost feels like being friends with you, being acquaintances with you is a flex, but also it's like somewhat sacred and special. Like, not everybody gets to be a part of your life, and so the people that feel like they are a part of your life feel super grateful for that. I want to say too, like, you can see other people's hearts. You can see like when people are being true, authentic. I feel like you're not the type of person to put up with fakeness, especially with that Queen of Swords in the reverse. You tell people that you either show up in an honest way or I'm leaving, you know? Because like because the Queen of Swords is also highly intuitive. So I feel like you probably have a good intuition when it comes to others. And so it's like, if you're showing up in a way that's BS, if you're showing up in a way that is just fucking around, and you can catch that and you just move accordingly. Like, okay, this is just not for me because I ain't putting up with that. And that goes back to that feeling of like valuing yourself, knowing how worthy you are. you're not afraid to move on. You're not afraid to move past certain people or events, circumstances, environments, whatever, because you know that you deserve better and you trust that better is out there. And again, that makes you incredibly attractive to other people. And I think a lot of it comes down to, like, it's just very rare to find people that are this confident, that are this unafraid of change, of shifting, of moving away from things, you know? 10 of Pentacles at the bottom of the deck. So people see you as having it all. You're like the complete package. If anybody was in your life romantically, they would feel like they have everything in the world. Like, because you are not only stable in your own right, but you also, something about creating a warm home environment. Yeah, there's something about like having a nice home. Like, you care for not only yourself, but your surroundings. And I feel like this sense almost of like, you bring things to life through being around them, if that makes any sense. I feel like your at-home environment, whether it's an apartment, a house, or whatever, it feels very warm. It feels very inviting. It feels very somewhat magical to be in like your home or to experience that. I feel like a lot of people are daydreaming about what a future with you would look like, and they cannot see anything bad about that future. They like fantasizing about a future with you because they know it'd be filled with abundance, happiness, stability, all of those wonderful things that we all want in relationships, or at least most of us do. You also give off like power couple vibes, almost on your own to an extent, so that kind of makes me think that maybe you have like balanced masculine and feminine energy within you, or you just are a very balanced kind of person, kind of completing yourself to a degree. Where was I? Oh, you would be like the perfect person for like a second person, for like a power couple. But you're also that power couple kind of on your own already. So it's like, I honestly feel like anybody that's not part of that sort of power couple energy, I almost feel like they probably wouldn't deserve you, or they would feel so insecure that they would like sabotage themselves before they actually got a chance with you or something. Because it's like, yeah, it's kind of intimidating looking at somebody and thinking, wow, this person has it all together, and what am I doing, you know? But that's the kind of energy you give off. And again, people find that incredibly attractive, that you kind of look like you have it all together, that you know what you're doing here. You know, I'm not trying to say that and make anybody feel bad for not being in that spot, because we all are human, we all have our days. And also I feel like this is a more so perspective of other people observing you, rather than what is true to you and what is true on your story, in your story. I want to see what's underneath that 10 of Pentacles. 9 of Wands. How interesting. Oh, that's even more interesting. The message I'm getting with that 9 of Wands. It's the wounded warrior energy. This person has built up a wall after painful experience, and they protect themselves. I think that people see that you have a wall up, but they like that, because it's like now they want to look beneath the surface. They kind of like want to investigate this a little bit more. There's a certain sense of curiosity when it comes to you, because it's like, as much as you're loving and open and whatnot, you're also very protected. You know how to protect yourself. You know how to like block out certain people, energies, etc. But it makes people curious, because it's like, okay, I want to know why maybe they act like this, or, you know, what is it that they are, yeah, kind of like, what is it that they're protecting? Because it's almost like you wouldn't be protecting something if you knew that it wasn't worth anything. And so you protect yourself because you know how worthy you are. You know your own worth. People see that and they like that. And I feel like, if anything, even if you are standoffish and closed off with certain people, they kind of just want to like learn more about you. They find you very interesting, fascinating. Okay, let's go on to the Nine of Pentacles now. Please and thank you, Spirit. What makes the collective so darn attractive? Please and thank you, Spirit. Nine of Pentacles, please and thank you. What makes the collective so darn hot? What makes the collective so darn hot around here? What makes them so darn hot? What makes them so darn hot in the world? Why is the collective so darn sexy? Why are they so attractive? We want to know. The world needs to know. Okay. Well, that's just a bit much. I'm gonna put you back. Y'all weren't meant to come out like that, but I did see something flip. Okay. Interesting energy, for sure. Okay, this is a lot, but that's okay. So clarifying that Nine of Pentacles, we have the Eight of Wands, the Sun card. Okay. King of Swords, Knight of Pentacles, the Fool card, Hermit card, Queen of Cups, Judgment, the High Priestess, Ace of Swords, and Chariot. On the deck is the Temperance card. This is a lot of major arcana here. You got that big personality or big energy. Like, even if you don't say anything, there's just something about you that screams out to the world. People like it. With the Eight of Wands, I feel this energy of you being always on the go, always having something to do or a place to be. Like, you're always in motion, I want to say. You're always, like, moving towards your passions. You're always moving towards the things that really excite you about life. Also, I'm getting this sense of being laser focused on your goals, where you want to go in life. Also, this can be a card of like communication. So I think you have a way of communicating to others that is very special. You may make other people feel very special with the way that you communicate to them. But also, a side note could be that somebody who finds you incredibly hot, incredibly attractive, may be trying to get into communication with you. So be on the lookout for that. They're attracted to your abundance and your stability and your independence. Sun card. So yeah, you glow. Like, this is the second card, or honestly, I kind of felt it through the whole reading, but you glow. There's something very bright, very beautiful about you. You bring a lot of warmth and happiness to others. Also a sense of hope, I want to say. King of Swords. So in regards to that Queen of Swords we saw in the reverse earlier, maybe this is somebody that wants to be your counterpart or could be your counterpart, maybe waiting in the wings. But in terms of what makes you attractive, I think this has something to do with the way that you have a balanced masculine energy, whether you identify as a feminine or not. You have a strong masculine presence in the way of you are action oriented. You're not always like deep in your feelings. You're not you're not being overly giving. You're not being overly emotional. You have like this sense of control about you. Also, the King of Swords is a very good communicator as well. So I really do feel like there's something special in the way that you communicate with others. I honestly am even getting like in terms of like maybe problem solving, conflict resolution with other people. Say you're like a mediator. I feel like you would be really good at doing that because you kind of know how to word things in a way that's easy to swallow or easy to chew, whatever that saying is. But yeah. Also, this feels like a sense of independence with that King of Swords. It almost feels like because you have your masculine and feminine energies so well balanced, it's almost like you complete yourself. So a lot of people may look at you and be like, they don't even need me. They have everything figured out on their own. And that could intimidate people, but they also find that incredibly attractive. And then the Knight of Pentacles after that King of Swords. You are a planner. You take your time, especially when it comes to important things. You take your time to plan things out. You don't like to rush into anything. You don't like to rush, especially when it comes to your goals. your ambitions for for yourself and for your future. You plan things out. You take the proper time to do your research, to plan things, to take things into consideration, and then you move. And when you do move after that, it's concise movement and it's like direct because you already have it all planned out. That's very attractive. I also feel like, although you may be like always on the move and stuff, you may have like a certain way that's very slow at the same time. I almost feel like maybe it's the way you walk has like a sense of rhythm to it. I don't know why I'm getting that, but it's like slow, maybe even like a saunter, you know? A little bit of a swagger to your everyday movements. So even if you're on the go, you kind of look angelic while you're on the go. You're like, yes. Maybe not like that, but that's kind of what's coming to mind. The Fool card. You're not afraid to take chances. You're not afraid to start new. You also show up in a way that is very pure-hearted. You're eager to maybe learn lessons. You're eager, very open to learning. You're very open for new experiences. I want to say you're very loyal to those who love and support you. And people that love and support you are also very loyal to you as well. So it's like you give off loyal energy, but also people want to be loyal to you because you're so special. And it's almost like they want to be a part of like your destiny, your purpose. And I don't mean that in a way of like destiny swapping. No, not like that, but rather it's like they know that you're meant for big things. You're meant for something here. And so people want to be like, maybe well, I don't want to, like, because it's not that they're trying to center themselves in it. It's rather that they just want to be able to help so that they can say that they kind of helped you get to where you needed to go or whatever. So maybe it's like, I don't know, somebody made a financial investment on you at the beginning stages of something before anybody else recognized your potential. And so now that person can go around and be like, you know, that person, I actually helped them get where they needed to be because I was there, blah, blah, blah. And, you know, that still sounds like they're still trying to center themselves in it, but it's more so like they are happy to help you. Because it's like that is the blessing. It's almost like because you're such a wonderful person and the way you're showing up and everything is so beautiful, it's like people, yeah, they want to help you get to where you need to go because they know that you're meant for something big here. And they just want to be able to be like, you know, I helped them on that journey. And now look at where they are today, you know? The Hermit. There's a sense of doing a lot of things on your own, but also like doing a lot of spiritual work on your own. You've done a lot of internal reflection. You've really figured out a lot of things within yourself and within your life, like where you want to go, what you want to do, what is important to you. And again, there's so much wisdom from life, from your own experiences, from your internal experiences even. Yeah. There's something very experienced about you that I feel like people can look up to and admire about you. Yellow butterfly. Very, very yellow. I think the color yellow reminds me of happiness, sunshine, and all that. I feel like when people see you, it's like seeing a yellow butterfly. It makes them happy. You make people happy. And that kind of goes back to that sense of you glowing. Your aura could be yellow or orange or something bright and beautiful like that. You just very much stand out in a lot of ways. Very beautiful. Queen of Cups. So that's you with your big, beautiful heart of gold here. Maybe it took you some time to get to this point where you're really admiring your own heart or admiring your own good qualities. And so that's kind of what helps when it comes to building boundaries and establishing those boundaries with others because you value yourself now. Maybe you realize how special you are to some extent. But again, you're very kind, very giving, very loving. And you show up in that way in your life, I think. And that's another reason why people find you so attractive. Judgment card. There's like a huge shift that's either happening in your life or has happened in your life, where it's like there's something about you going on to bigger and better things, and you're meant for something that is unlike anything you've ever experienced. And I want to say that is unlike anyone around you has experienced too. Because there's just like this sense of importance that you give off with your energy. This sense of like maybe even star power. Like maybe you have that sort of charisma where people are like, wow, that person's gonna be famous someday, I can tell. They also feel like you've been chosen by God. Some people, I'm gonna say, not everybody, I'm sure, but there are certain people out there that believe that you were chosen by God and something is very special about you. And maybe what you're doing here on this earth, in this life, maybe you're caring for the environment, maybe you're caring for animals, or, you know, standing up for human rights, stuff like that. There's something very, there's a big purpose, pretty much. And people are attracted to that because they can see that you're here for a bigger purpose. The High Priestess, you're incredibly spiritual. Again, there's like this sense of solitude, and then also a quietness to you. So again, like self-isolation could be a common thing that you do. Maybe to catch a break or to recharge your battery, or you're just most comfortable alone or something. Or that's how people perceive you. But it doesn't feel like it's like a sad alone, you know? It's not like you're crying into your pillow every single night. No offense if you are, you know, like crying about how lonely and sad you are. But there's like a sense of contentment with your own self, a sense of comfort you feel by being just in your own company. People see this and they love that about you. Also, there's a sense of being balanced. Like I'm getting drawn to the black column and the white column. Like that gives a sense of balance to me. So people again see you as somebody that is very balanced within yourself, and it affects how you show up in life or around other people in a good way. Ace of Swords, you have really good ideas. You have a good way of expressing your ideas as well. I feel like there's something again about the way you communicate, and I feel like it's almost like you excite the people you talk to. And maybe it's like when you're talking about the things you're passionate about, your ideas, your goals, things that interest you, and you're just like talking because it's like something very fascinating to you or important to you. And I think people find that incredibly attractive. I'm personally one of those people, like where it's like somebody can tell me like something that is so boring, but if they're very enthusiastic about whatever that topic is, I'm like, oh damn, okay, look at that, you know, like they're talking about something that they love. Like that makes, you know, seeing passion in another person, I think, makes you very attractive. And I feel like you're that kind of person. You have that passion, you have that lust for life, or like you have that passion when it comes to your goals, the things that you want to pursue or like do in your lifetime. The Chariot, you're not afraid of moving forward, you're not afraid of moving outside of your comfort zone. Again, something about being on the move. Like maybe you're currently, well, let me try and think of it from your point of view. Yeah, it's like an upward, what do you call it? This is your path, pretty much. People are seeing you go up and up and up and up and up. It's almost like, where else could they possibly go? Because I think you're already seen in a really high light. In a lot of people's eyes, but yet it's almost like you're still going, you're still fighting for it, you're still going towards something here, and it's like, where is this person gonna go? Like, and it could also have something to do with your like your self-improvement journey too. It's like, okay, people may see you as somebody that doesn't need to work on themselves, and it's like, okay, what are you gonna work on now? Like literally you're perfect. Which, you know, that's its own thing about being put on a pedestal and being idealized and stuff like that. I think you probably do have people that put you on a pedestal, people that lift you higher than themselves, but I don't think you're comfortable with that. I think that you see yourself as being one of the collective. You know what I mean? Like you have this awareness that And not to say that you're not special and stuff, but you have this idea of like, we're all connected. No one of us is more important than another, you know? And if you do have that mindset, I wonder if maybe you're uncomfortable sometimes when people try to idealize you or make you out to be this, like, you know, perfect person. You're not afraid of experimentation. You're not afraid of change. Even when it comes to your purpose, like maybe you have had multiple times where you're like, okay, that's my purpose. But then it's like, you know, 3 months down the line, a few years down the line, you're like, okay, so maybe that wasn't my purpose, but this thing definitely is my purpose. And maybe you kind of go through life kind of experimenting, trying on different hats to see which fits the best, you know? But it also feels like it's very intuitively guided at the same time. Like, I don't think you're just like a person to maybe make rash decisions. I feel like you're like, okay, I've given this proper amount of thought, so let's go for it, you know? But the fact that you act on these ideas, the fact that you are not afraid to act and to do these things, I think that makes you incredibly attractive, because so many people can talk and talk and talk about the things they're going to achieve, but unless they're actually doing it, then what, you know, what is it, you know? Like what good is that? But you are out here actually putting in the effort. And so I think that also makes people very confident that you're going to be manifesting exactly what you want out of life, because you have the right kind of mindset, the right kind of energy. Temperance card at the bottom of the deck. I feel like you give this sense of being, again, balanced, but also very healing. Healing to yourself, healing to others. I feel like you're not afraid to be emotionally vulnerable, but that's only, I almost feel like saying that only comes when people have earned your trust, where you're very open like that. Or, you know, up until, like, you're open until somebody gives off a red flag or, you know, shows something unhealthy, and then you're out. But you just have a healthy, balanced perspective of things. You're very intuitive. I feel like you follow spirit, and maybe sometimes it feels like you're blindly following spirit, but it's like deep down you know that this is the right path. Deep down you know that you're being guided in the right direction. And maybe it doesn't make much sense in this current point in your journey, but it's like you will come to this point where you kind of realize what it's all been for, or that, you know, you weren't just blindly, you know, messing about. You were actually on your path and pursuing your goals here. And I feel like you're going to obtain those because you're doing just that. I want to see what's underneath the Temperance card. King of Pentacles. That's funny, because we got King of Pentacles here too. Yeah, you give off this boss energy, secure within yourself energy, confident, abundant, stable. So many qualities to like about you and to find attractive about you. You know, it's so interesting. I find it very beautiful that the King of Pentacles in this deck is represented by a male deer, because the King of Pentacles in this card, he has a suit of armor underneath his cloak. He's the only king that has that, as if to say this is somebody that, one, knows how to fight, and two, isn't afraid of fighting, you know, if it need be, right? And I feel like that's kind of the way with this stag here, because his antlers are, you know, rainbow and stuff. It's almost like that's his suit of armor here. So there's something about you showing up as intimidating, but also like a fighter. And sure, you may intimidate people, but I feel like just as intimidating as you can be, you can also be just as attractive. And maybe for the same reason, you know? I'm going to see what's underneath this King of Pentacles. Oh, it's the Knight of Pentacles. We saw that earlier too. A lot of Pentacles energy. So yeah, you are very slow and steady, but you're coming into this position of power, I want to say. You're manifesting something big here. And it may have taken some time, or yeah, it feels like something has taken a lot of time, a lot of effort, a lot of work, but it's finally paying off for you, and people are going to see that. And you're going to see that too. And everything's going to kind of click into place, or feel like, oh, okay, like I understand why these things had to happen in the timing that they did. But yeah, people like that you plan for yourself, for your future, and that you are going to manifest what it is that you want out of life, because again, you have the right energy, the right mindset and stuff. Let's break out the oracle, see what there is for additional messages for this reading. What makes the collective so darn hot? Please and thank you, Spirit. What makes the collective so darn hot? Okay. Yeah. Okay. Ooh, these are beautiful cards. The wolf and rose hip, this represents guardianship. You're very protective. I feel like the Knight of Pentacles is probably one of the most protective kings in the deck, I would say. So that fits very perfectly. And no matter what the gender, because I'm also getting not just specifically that King of Pentacles energy, but also I'm getting Mama Bear vibes, you know, like you're very protective about, interesting, I wanted to say cubs because of the wolf. So you could be very protective of your family, the people that you love, the people that are important to you. You will defend them to the death, I want to say. And you take responsibility seriously as well. Like if you're given the responsibility of caring for someone, you do fulfill that. And you go like, yeah, you'll do anything for the people that you love is pretty much what I'm getting with that, very strongly. And that's the energy that other people feel when they interact with you. And then there's the bat and hellebore, and hellebore maybe is how it's pronounced. This represents intuition. So that was another theme throughout this whole reading, is like you're incredibly intuitive, very spiritually connected. You are getting a lot of like downloads from spirit, and you're trusting those, and that's a very unique and attractive quality that you have. Because we all have intuition. It just comes down to who really listens to their intuition, who trains their intuition even to become more, because it's practice, you know? Like you don't just one day wake up knowing, you know, psychic stuff. Like you kind of have to build up to it. Or at least that's like, for the most part, I would say. The salamander and black pepper, this represents inspiration. That's so perfect, because literally we were saying how creative you are. Also, you inspire other people because of who you are and how you're showing up in this world. You're incredibly influential. You inspire other people to do their best because you show up in a way that is your best. Yeah. The bottom of the deck is the boar and pumpkin. This represents confidence, which is another thing we've been getting throughout this whole reading. This is actually really cute. The boar is just so cute, like a little piggly wiggly. And you know, no offense to anybody that's plus size, but you know how pigs sometimes can be known as being like kind of fat, you know, or like bigger. And it's interesting that it's part of this like confidence card. So maybe you've even struggled with like body issues throughout your life, body dysmorphia, maybe unhealthy eating habits or something. Or maybe you don't look like the ideal beauty according to Eurocentric beauty standards, but you own that, and you recognize that just because you're different doesn't mean anything. Yeah, like you can be just as beautiful. You can be just as confident. You can be, yeah, like you can be anything you put your mind to. There's also like I feel like you inspire other people to be confident because you show up in a confident way as well. It's almost like you understand that you don't have to be perfect. You don't have to have all these things and then finally you're deserving. But just showing up as you are, who you are, you allow people to also feel like they can do that as well. Like it's safe to do so. I love that. So this probably wasn't a quickie because I love to babble, you know me. But that is the reading. I really hope that you enjoyed this. I thought this was actually a really beautiful reading. But yeah, so if it resonated at all, feel free to like, comment, share, and subscribe. If you subscribe, you can become a part of the Hive Collective, because my name is Bee. Bees live in hives, and you can become an honorary bee like me, and we can be a little bee family together. If you like my readings and you'd like to see more, be sure to click that bell icon down below so that YouTube actually notifies you the next time that I upload. And thank you so much for being here. I truly appreciate you, and I can't wait to see you in the next one. Bye.